Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Center on Brain Injury Research and Training's podcast series entitled Lived Experiences with Traumatic Brain Injury. I'm your host, Melaney Grenz. My guest today is Jonathan Boland. Jonathan, an elite athlete with dreams of NFL stardom, saw his dreams shattered by a series of devastating concussions. His journey is a gripping story of triumph, heartbreak, and resilience, showcasing the example of a spirit of a fighter who refused to give up. Thanks for joining us today, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. So, Jonathan, you were born and raised in Portland, and you were fortunate to grow up with loving parents.
Yeah.
3 incredible siblings.
Yes, ma'am.
And your family's closeness has always been a cornerstone of your life.
Absolutely.
You're very lucky in that regard, by the way.
Bless.
So, from an early age, it was unmistakable. You possess talent and drive of an elite athlete, a gift that sets you apart. So you started by playing flag football in elementary, and then you strapped on some pads for tackle football in the 6th grade. And your love of the game was undeniable, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, by the time high school rolled around, your hard work and dedication led your team to the playoffs during both your junior and senior years. So can you reflect on those pivotal moments? Like, how did this all shape your journey as an athlete?
Just started from young with gymnastics and just growing and watching and learning just like my older brothers and whatnot. And my dad didn't want us to play football in the first place. So when we got on the field, I wasn't going to go out there and just half it, and just give half effort. I'm going out there full because this is what we wanted to do, was play football. That's what we talked about. But just the resiliency of my family and everything that we've gone through in the early stages of my life, and it just added on to the passion that I had for football and to really put that hard work into it. Just like anything, you have to put work into it. But such a collision sport, a physical sport, a violent sport like football, you have to go that extra mile, not just physical because it's mental. You have to tell yourself in your brain to go do something in a violent manner on a football field, and you worship and praise for it. So it's a different mentality you have to bring into it, but it started from hard work. Same my parents, everybody, just hard work.
Yeah. So you told me earlier that you believe you had some concussions as a child that were undiagnosed.
Most likely. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So tell us, in high school, the first concussion that you went, wow, this is huge.
Yeah, it was sophomore year. Sophomore year, I sat out for like 2 weeks. We had a playing game that sophomore year, so I made the last game of the year. But that sophomore year, that first one, when I really was like, whoa, this ain't just a bell rung. This is a little bit different. I woke up a little bit different from that next day from my sophomore year. But it added a sense of urgency for myself as an athlete, taking something more serious. Because I'm 14, 15 years old, and I wake up in my head, I feel my head not the same as I was the day before. But it just added on to the hard work, I guess. It added on to the passion because I was like, okay, this is life or death now. This is changing my life for sure.
So you sat out for 2 weeks that sophomore year, and then you were blessed to be able to play in the playoffs.
Yep.
And then what about junior year? Tell us about junior year.
Junior year was my major one. That was the one that I actually stayed the night in the hospital for. And that one's very faint. That one's very faint. It's moments that I remember. That whole situation is hard to even, when people tell me, like my mom would tell me how many people were in the waiting room, and she said it was like full that same night of the game. And I got injured at halftime, like before halftime, I believe. Third quarter, I'm not too sure, but just that's when things changed. That's when things truly, that's when it was fall. It just began to be foggy. Things in life, learning, paying attention, focusing, just little things like that. I could tell. I'm 16, maybe 17 at the time, and it just, school became a little more difficult and just regular life. So I mean, I didn't have a regular life at 16 years old, you know. So I don't. It was regular to me, but the regular things were paying attention were a little more difficult for sure. For sure.
Then you mentioned you had some headaches as well, right?
Yeah. That. I mean, I've been dealing with them for so long now that it's second nature. I mean,
Wow. So you still have the headaches now. Wow.
Yeah. There's things that I can do. High intensity workouts. Just focusing, reading His Word, walks, being alone, things like that help. And things like that help with just calming down the mind. Yeah.
So junior year, significant concussion.
Yeah.
Tell us about your senior year.
So senior year was the year that I know I had one for sure senior year. But it was senior year. It was go time. Like, it wasn't no time to sit out. What? No, I had college coaches on the sideline. You know what I mean? I had to show out.
Right.
And that's the sad part, is I had to show out. I had to do the things on the field to get that scholarship that I had been dreaming about for 10 plus years. I had to go the extra mile. Couldn't sit out. Couldn't miss a game. You know what I mean? I had missed too many games sophomore and junior year because of it, you know. And my recruiting was slow. Bet that it was because of the injuries. College coaches don't want to hear that this kid has injury issues. They're paying thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for me to go to school and play football. So they don't want it just to go to the wayside. And I understand it's a business.
Yeah. So 3 diagnosed concussions in high school. Diagnosed.
Diagnosis, yeah.
Would have been more. So all of a sudden you're at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
Your concussion symptoms are persisting, the headaches, the balance, vision issues. But there's money on the line now, right? You're playing for scholarships, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're playing for your scholarship. You didn't want to sit out, right?
Mm-mm.
Talk to me about that.
I had a blast going to PSU. It was a dream. It was a dream come true. It was all the hard work, all the 5 a.m. lifts, all the 7-8 mile runs that I was doing in high school, all the alcohol and the intoxicants and all that my friends were doing at the time in high school. All of that paid off. Staying away from that stuff. I'm on a full ride. You know, I told my mom and dad because I got my scholarship before Christmas of 2014. And so I got to tell my parents they didn't have to pay for college on Christmas. So that all just fed more passion, like I said before, and the hard work. But when I got to PSU, man, it became a job. It was a job every day. You had to wake up 5 a.m., lift, practice, school, more film sessions, more football meetings, school, film. But for me and my headaches at that time and the freedom that I had being away from home, even though I was 30 minutes down the road, downtown Portland, it allowed space, the voidness of going to church, the voidness of waking up, hearing my mom say, y'all better get saved today. Y'all better get saved today. That void of his spirit there was no him anymore in my life. All the hard work, all the blessings that I had, I didn't turn away from him. I just kind of put my tunnel vision on. He was still there, but I kind of blocked him out, you know? And those added substances with still living a student athlete lifestyle, trying to preach the word and trying to pray and trying to say Jesus, you know, and it was a facade because I didn't know who I was just yet, because it was just added things coming on to my life, and I'm 18, 19 years old and still trying to play football and falling out of love with the game because it's becoming a job, and it just, and adding the concussions and adding the headaches, and it was just a different ball, it was a different life. And I began to abuse Xanax, what was this, 2015 of September, October-ish. I began abusing it. And it lasted for close to a year, up until my arrest. It was fall camp, going into 2016 fall camp. I was going for a starting job because I had redshirted my freshman year. Going for a starting job and caught a ball. Boom, bam, hit my head. Immediately, I knew it because I had switched from quarterback to wide receiver. I'm in college. Caught the ball on scout team, bam, immediately. Like symptoms, bam. I already knew it, but like I said, coming out of senior year, can't sit out. I definitely not finna tell trainers. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready to get a starting job. Everything's falling in line, even though everything was falling out of line. And that's not even funny. It's just true, and it's just real, and it was sad at the time. Looking back at it now, almost 10 years ago, and if I put myself back in that little boy at 19, going back home, doing whatever I did back at home, I had a low beam in my basement, not even thinking, boom, ran into it. Stayed up that whole night. I stayed up that whole night because I couldn't go to sleep. And that right there, I was like, dang, this is it. I can't take no other. I'm seeing all these NFL guys and these dudes, junior say out, committing suicide, and these individuals who have same brain issues that I got going on. These guys going off the rails and doing things that they wouldn't have done, or doing things that they don't do. They're doing things that aren't normal. They're doing things that don't align up with the normal human thought process. Went to the trainers at morning at PSU. We rehabbed. I took the impact test a few times. We rehab, recovered, tried to run. I came back for like a week, and I'm in my head. I'm like, nah, you know what? Nah, this is it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it broke me.
Mm-hmm.
It broke me.
Absolutely.
For sure.
You stated an amazing quote earlier. Concussions have their own agenda. It's not like icing an ankle, right? You ice an ankle, you come back.
Mm-hmm.
Concussions have their own agenda. You were right. So here you are, 19 years old. Your dream is dashed. Tell us about that. What happens next, Jonathan?
The only thing I knew that I could do during that time was to begin to live the life that I was living outside of football, which was party. That's it. That's all I knew, because that's all I was doing at the time outside of football. I was still participating as a full student athlete in everything, while still abusing at least one Xanax a day, unprescribed. I was smoking every day, of course, and I would drink from Thursday to Sunday, maybe even Wednesday to Sunday, while all masking what I needed to feed and nourish was my heart and my mind and my soul. with the first thing I knew about when I grew up was having the Holy Spirit lead your life. I did not want to go to him because I knew I would have to change.
You told me earlier, I can't hide my life. Just Google it. This is 2 weeks after you had that very devastating conversation with your coaches that, whoa, it's time to retire from football.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks after that, tell me about that. What happened?
it was morning. I'm standing on the sideline in football. It was campus police and a few other officers over there. And a signal for me to come on over. So I ran over. Wasn't thinking. I kind of was thinking, but I was like, nah, this can't be it. You know what I mean? It's going to be like some fans or something, or like an interview guy wanted to talk to me or something. That's what I was thinking it was, Wasn't thinking it was the robberies. And sure enough, I was wrong. Turned that corner and they were right there waiting for me. They got me. I was a celebrity at that time in Portland. So it was easy for them to know who I was, where I was at. I mean, 19 at the time. I didn't think I had never got in trouble ever in my life for anything. And if I did, it was all right, just go, John, or don't do it again. Just look past it. But got arrested. And one thing that I remember is we were walking into the detention center and getting ready to get booked. And one of the detectives, I remember, he goes, this is going to be on the news. This is going to get out. I already know. But I stayed in the county jail for about 26 days. I think those whole 26 days, I cried the most of my life. I'll tell you that. Yeah, cried myself to bed at night. Like I was a little kid all over again. But I got closer to him. I was able to, and it's so cliche that people find God in prison, you find God in jail. No, I ain't find him. I already had him. I just had to open myself back up to him. That's all I had to do. I ain't find him in no prison. I found him when my mom and daddy used to tell us walking down the stairs, y'all better get saved. Got out. I was on the ankle bracelet for about 8 to 9 months, close to 10 months fighting my case. And that was, my grandma came from St. Louis. She was living with us at the time. So I got some good old Pentecostal word from her on a daily basis. Shout out to my grandma, Miss Annie Pearl in St. Louis. Wow. Yeah, she that's my girl. That's my dog right there. I didn't know if I was getting released or gonna not go to prison or get probation. I didn't know at the time.
Can you tell us what your charges were? Are you comfortable doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yep. 3 robberies in the first degree. Those were the first charges. One of them got dropped. I had to plead it 2 robberies in the first. Both carrying a sentence of 90 months, which is 7.5 years. But they ran them consecutive, so ran them at the same time. And so it all equaled up to just 7.5 years. But right now on my charges, if you look me up, it'll have 2 robberies in the first degree.
I remember reading a previous news article where your mom was quoted saying, Jonathan, my youngest son, the one that was supposed to be on ESPN and get us in the papers, right?
Yeah.
Crazy impact upon your whole family, right?
Yeah.
You go to prison, 7.5 years. Wow. Okay. Tell me as much as you're comfortable with about prison life.
A lot of people, since I came home, they asked me about it, and because it's so much that went on in there that I say the most nonchalant answer, but it's the most realist and truest statement, and we've been getting taught and told this from such a young age. Just be yourself. People accept you more when you're yourself and you're true than you trying to figure out who you want to be because this person thinks of this or this person looks at you this way. Just be yourself. It was a place to where you have to treat people with respect, and we've been getting taught that since however young we were as well. And if you give respect, it should also come back. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I did. I gave respect to everybody. I didn't show no fear. I didn't try to act tough. No, I'm just me. I'm going to be bold in who I believe in. First off, Jesus Christ. That's my best friend. But second, it's a place of destruction, but it's a place of of life, of new life. And that's why I named my company, God gave me the vision, called Breath of Life. That's my strength and conditioning company, future gym. But you can get a breath of life, you know what I mean? And when I got there, I was still, of course, not symptom free. I was still dealing with my headaches, and I had to attack. Like I said in the beginning, there's things that I had learned at the time where that can help my headaches at the time, like training high intense and reading His Word and just being able to be away. You know, in prison, that was one thing you could do, is get away. You can go to your cell, put your headphones on, and you zone out. You know, even amongst all the stuff going on, coming home to the Lord and allowing Him to wrap His arms around me, it gave me a whole different strength. It gave me a whole different outlook on life, because I was around. Come on, it's prison. You know what I mean? It's prison. I'm around the individuals that people watch on the news, that you hear about. Oh my God, how could somebody do that? You know, those were the people that I'm around. But they're still people.
Right.
They're still humans. They still have a heartbeat. They still have moms. They still have dads. They still have kids. They still have uncles and aunties that love them, just like my mama say she loved me, just like people say they love you. They are still human beings in there. The people that I were in there with needed help, and I was one of them. That place, you can grow. You can grow, and there's individuals that can lead and guide growth in there.
You met one too. You met an amazing staff psychologist who was leading a diversion program, right?
Yes, Dr. Nick Crapser. He's just a blessed. We send memes and stuff on Instagram every day to it, just funny little memes and football and just crazy stuff. But you can look his story up too. But he doesn't care if I tell. He already gave me the green light to tell everything about this. You know, he's such an open book. But he did time in the 90s. Got out. He was strung out. He was all, drug, everything you could think of he was doing in the 90s. And he got out, got on track, got his record expunged, went back to school, got his doctorates, and he's the co-executive of Fourth Dimension Recovery here in Oregon. I'm actually getting ready to do a little partnership with him and do some of the strength and conditioning for some of the guys and some of their patients. But he created the program that allowed me to flourish and to be nourished by just being able to see God's children in all different type of lights, all different type of circumstances, all different type of diagnosis of what doctors give them, just all different types of walks in life and crimes these individuals have done. And
you and psychologists, you started a class in prison called Muscle Masculinity and Mindfulness Training, and you were able to help a whole lot of inmates. So amazing.
Appreciate that. Yes.
So you were able to get out of prison early, which was wonderful. You faced your mistakes. You endured the weight of prison, served your time. Now you're standing at the doorway of a second chance. How are you embracing that next chapter now?
Sounds cliche, but it was a breath of life. You take a deep breath, and like we were talking about stuttering, or when you're speaking with somebody and there, you get a little nervous. What do people say? Take a breath, deep breath out, let it out. It was literally that. It was a breath of life. It was a deep breath. It was a time to be new. I went in at 19. I'm 25 now. It was a grown man with still little boy things attached to him, because the world only knew who a 19-year-old kid was. And the last thing, because they didn't see me in prison. They didn't see all the change that I was doing. They didn't see all the individuals that I was out there working out with. You know what I mean? So I did not have to come and prove myself. I just had to come and keep walking in the same light in the same path that I was doing while I was incarcerated. It was so easy to transition. I don't want to say it was easy like, oh, it was just cupcakes, ice cream, and this and that. No, it was easy because I knew who I was now. I knew that the Lord needed me to do this. You can help and change individuals with your testimony, with your life experiences, with what you've gone through. And boy, you better not be shy telling it, because I got you out of this situation. So you better let these individuals know out in this world what God can do, what I can do for you. I had to be bold, and I had to be genuine. I have to be genuine. I have to be real, because a lot of things out here now that I've noticed is just, there's no roots, there's no depth. Everything's surface value. So when there's something rooted and deep and nourished, it's a difference. You see it differently. There's another light, another something different. You know what I mean? Just different.
So now you're a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Have your own company.
Mm-hmm.
Also certified strength and conditioning specialist.
Yep.
Good for you. Good for you. So what message would you share with young men now chasing their football dreams at the high school and college level? So what crucial advice would you offer these young guys about recognizing concussions and your emotions? And you talked about it's the job. Can you go there with us?
Any athlete just listening, or whoever, being able to be upfront and genuine with coaches, understanding that life keeps going after your sport or after what you're doing. Because at 19, everything was about ball. You know what I mean? Everything was ball. Everything was, and that was it. You know, that's why I thought life was over when I retired, and there was nothing that I could do afterwards, which was totally wrong, you know. But just focus on knowing that there's more than just ball. Of course, give your passion, give your hard work to what you're doing at that moment, but it's just a moment. It's just a few years that in your life, but those few years are going to change you. Those few years, they can, whatever way you want to go, those few years can help you and equip you for, you don't even know, 10 years down the line. All those things that I learned back then I still got on my toolbox, and I carry around with me every day. But
what about advice to young athletes about recognizing and addressing concussions?
We all know the symptoms, because there's no hiding concussions anymore. And I'm speaking just plainly about it because coaches need to understand it as well. There's older coaches of mine that, oh man, I'm look at me now, I'm good. No, you're not. You're not good. Let me just tell you that. And I know I'm not all the way 100% good as well. But when you recognize your bell rung, but that ain't no just bell run, dog. You say something about it. Sit out a week. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You get your bell rung, bro. Go just sit out a week. You know what I mean? Go through the things that you have to do to recover and come back, because you only got one brain.
Right.
It's not an ankle, like I say, you can just ice up and you back in a week or so. Your brain can only take so much. You know what I mean? So much that it could, in any pound, any big hit, any side, just take that week off. Take a week off. Do whatever that the trainers lead you to do. And trainers, come on, step up. You're dealing with children. You're dealing with collegiate, whoever you're dealing with. Remember that these people got to get to 50 years old. These people have to have lives after this. Doesn't matter how much money they make, and these people got lives after to live. They got families they got to raise. Just everybody look out for each other. That's what it is. Everybody just got to look out for each other.
Great advice. Great advice. What goals does Jonathan have right now for the future? So you've got this great business. What else? What else is going on?
Goals? I mean, I'm so driven on the gym and my facility, and just trying to find partners and whatnot, and trying to find individuals who are like-minded to go into it with. And But the goal, my goal hasn't changed since God gave me the vision of Breath of Life in 2018. Sitting behind those bars, writing these visions, just writing everything down that he places on me, and being able to see those individuals that I worked with in there, and kids and moms and daughters and dads that I'm training now. I'm focused on that. I'm sorry that I don't got any more goals, but that's really it. Just spreading his name with what I do.
You're being really humble. You've done a lot of interviews and podcasts, and you're on a few boards now, and it's really a beacon of hope. So thank you. Thank you so much. So thanks for sharing your story with us with such honesty and capturing both the disappointments and the highs and the lows. And we also deeply appreciate the hope you've offered to our listeners. And at the Center on Brain Injury Research and Training, it's been an honor to meet you, and we wish you all the very best in the next chapters of your life. And I sincerely hope our paths cross again.
Yes, absolutely. I do too. I appreciate you guys, and keep doing the good work you guys are doing, because it's changing lives. It's changing mine. I mean, whoever listens to this, I hope that it gets down into those roots and just be able to keep going and live a life that's nourishing for others to watch.